Hello, it's me, and I'm back. I'm back with a new video. This is my new series that I'm gonna be um doing. My new series that I'm gonna be doing on this channel, and it's called. The title of it is called. Um, the title of it is called Mrs. Candy Reviewer Ashlyn Candy Reviews. So if you couldn't guess already, it's gonna be a candy review series where I review candies of different types. I'm going to be reviewing different types of candies, and I'm going to be trying them, and I'm going to be giving my review. I'm going to be giving my honest take on what I think about these candies, these sweet treats, basically. So I'm really excited about this. This is something that's been kind of in the works. I first had the idea for this series back in I think back in high school, actually. I was talking with a friend about it, and we were both like, this would be such a great thing to have like a candy review series. And now that aspiration has become a reality because this is the first episode of Mrs. Candy Reviewer Ashlyn's candy reviews. So I'm really excited about this. I think I've got a really great lineup of candies, and I think I can really, in my opinion, personally, not to brag, but I think that I could really, um, I think that my voice is really, like, I eat a lot of candy. I eat a lot of snacks just in general, and I eat like, I kind of have, I kind of have a bit of a sweet tooth, so I think that my voice could certainly benefit my voice being added to the body of people's voices on the internet talking about candy is useful. You know what I'm saying? Like in my opinion. Not to be like I think I have some good opinions basically. And I think I have pretty good taste. So I'm pretty excited to be to be to be um to be starting this. And I hope you are too. Cause yeah. All right. So, before we get into it, before we get into the first candy review, because this is the first review, I actually have some things I just want to go over first. Just some like kind of things I want to talk about before we get into it. And it's just like basically what this is just like I have some rules and some principles, some guiding principles that I want to kind of just go over before we kind of start. You know what I'm saying? Just so like you understand what exactly I'm trying to like what exactly like my kind of guiding principles are. And like some rules that I have, some rules for myself and kind of the audience as well. Or maybe not the audience, but just my fans, or fans aspirationally. So these are my rules, this is the basically the what this is the Mrs. Ashlyn Candy Reviewer oh Mrs. Candy Reviewer Ashlyn sorry this is the 18 candy rules and principles that are the foundation for what this series I hope will become. So this is just me like a little like a lot of these kind of go without saying, of course, but I just think it's like important to kind of talk about. Yeah, you get it. All right. So number one for the reviews, number one, it's gonna be a holistic review process. This is rule number one. My strivings for this are to have a holistic review process for the candies, which basically means that we want, with regards to each candy that I review, I want it to cover not just how it tastes perhaps, but also other aspects of it, like how was the process of acquiring this candy? Like was it easy or hard? Like was it prohibitively expensive to like buy, like what exactly is like the process behind making the candy and stuff like that. It wants to be basically I want it to be holistic. And that's also like visually, like what does it look like? Like would I want to, like looking at it, would I want to eat it? Like if I didn't even know what it tasted like. And like how does it smell? Like stuff like that. That's sort of my process. That's something I kind of came up with for like a kind of holistic sort of thing, that because I want it to be all encompassing. Like any person can eat a candy and be like, this tastes good or this tastes bad, but I really want to have like kind of a holistic process. Holistic. I don't know why I put that in quotation marks, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. So that's rule number one. Rule number two: always strive for fairness. I think fairness is very important. Fairness is in fact one of the guiding. It's very important. That's why it's at number two. Always strive for fairness. We want to be fair when I'm reviewing candies, and I think that means understanding what I like and what I don't like. So I want to be like fair, basically, in the sense that I want to, give every candy a fair shot. But also understand where exactly I'm coming from, if you know what I'm saying. Because the truth is that there are some types of candies that I don't really like. Does that mean that I'm not gonna try them? Sure. Wait, no. That means no. There are some types of candies that I do not like, for instance, like sour candy or something like that. But I'm still gonna try it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because I don't like something or I might have never tried it before, that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna try it, basically. So that's kind of my idea about fairness. That's rule number two. And just fairness in general, just like a spirit of fairness. Just through these, just feel this, just kind of like this, yeah, basically. Fairness. So number three is honesty. I'm not going to try to fake anything on this review process. That's not what I'm going for. You're going to get my honest opinions here. And I'm not going to try and I'm not going to try and be like, I'm not going to try and be like, oh, this is fine, or like when I actually don't like it, or think like, oh, this sucks when I actually do like it, or stuff like that. You're going to get my honest and true opinion. You're going to get the truth and nothing but the truth, all right? Yeah. That kind of goes without saying, but that's rule number 3 of 18. So number 4 is be respectful. That's another thing that I've kind of thought about with this series is I don't want to be, rude. I don't want to like with my opinions, it's like, I know I might not like something personally, or I might think that it doesn't taste all that good, but at the same time, I want to be respectful of every type of candy, basically, and everything that has been, every type of candy that enters my mouth, because, you gotta, something that I try that I might not like is something that somebody else might really like, and it's like, it's important to be respectful of all the kind of types of candies that I am eating, and all the different practices of making them from wherever whence they came, basically. So that's rule number 4. Rule number 5, kind of related, is leave your comfort zone. And that means me leaving my comfort zone, not necessarily you leaving your comfort zone, but maybe me leaving my comfort zone will encourage you also to leave your comfort zone. And this kind of ties into all 3 of the 4 first rules. Is we here, I personally want to like I wanna, what was I saying? It's important to try new things, first of all. And I think a part of that is, while this isn't an official rule, maybe this could be like a side rule, but for this series, I think I want to have it be where I don't try stuff. It'd be great if I could, every time I kind of do this, I try something that's like, I've never actually tried before. So I think that is a part of the leaving the comfort zone bit, is that more than anything, I want to try new things. This is a series in which I want to try new things. And yeah. Number 5, leave your comfort zone. Number 6, it's kind of, this might rile some people. But number 6 is no chocolate. Nothing with chocolate in it. And I love chocolate. Don't get me wrong. Chocolate is amazing. I love it. I love it so much. But for the sake of my reviewing integrity, I think, and how do I say? I want this series like within the kind of like I want it to be basically where like for this series, I think it would be great if what was happening was like I were to when I have like I want to have like kind of a niche, if you get what I'm saying. Like if I am, because it's just like if I'm having every single type of candy, then it's kind of like then it's just like that's so much, you know what I'm saying? But if I had like kind of a specific niche of types of candies that I ate and reviewed, then I feel like it would be each review would sort of be more in keeping with the other reviews, if you get what I'm saying. Because it's sort of like, as a reviewer, how exactly will it be like I'll be eating like one day you'll see me eating like a jelly bean or something like that, and then the next day it's like I'm eating like a fudge bar. Like it's like somebody who saw those two reviews would be like, oh, Ashlyn really like this jelly bean, and she also maybe didn't really like this fudge bar. Like what, like how exactly will you really know what? Like, but for instance, say if I was eating a jelly bean, and then the next day I was eating a um like a Skittle, then it'd be like, okay, those are two sort of similar things, and then it can sort of be grounds for like building like kind of a comparison thing. I can kind of think like, oh, this like Skittles is great, but it's like kind of it's not as good as a jelly bean. So that's my kind of thought process for not having any chocolate things. And that does get rid of a lot of types of candy, I know, but at the same time, I think it will help increase, or rather kind of like decrease the sample size of candies that we're talking about here. So that way you can kind of get more a sense of what exactly I'm kind of going for. Yeah. Okay, so that's number 6. We're one third of the way through the rules. Next up, 7. No lollipops. No lollipops. And to add on to that, this is kind of related. Rule number 7 is all about basically like ease of eating. If you know what I'm saying, I want to have these candies basically like I want to be able to like kind of like pop it in my mouth and then like eat it and then swallow it, to have like a full process of like chewing and then swallowing, or like if not chewing, then at the very least just and then I eat it, or like maybe I can chew it, I can and then eat it and then give my review. Because if like nobody wants to watch me like, because like as part of as rule number 1, for it to be a holistic candy process, I need to have a full kind of experience basically of eating the candy, so I can really process how exactly it makes me feel. Like, because like maybe I'm eating something and at first I'm like, oh, this is pretty good, but then as I go on I'm like, wow, the flavors have really started to wear on me. And like I feel like with a lollipop it's kind of like respectfully, like if I were to like review that, then you'd have to watch me like kind of suck on it for like 30 minutes or stuff, something like that, and I don't really think that that's like, you know what I'm saying? Like I want it to be kind of like I want to get these out, or maybe not get them out, but I want to like at the very least kind of like have them more short form. Maybe maybe I can like kind of make a separate channel or something like that, or like kind of a separate project, like kind of like maybe like a kind of separate like place where I can put my more like my unofficial reviews or something like that. But at the very least, for right now, I just think no lollipops, no jelly, no Jolly Ranchers or stuff like that. Nothing like that, basically, because I want it to be easy to consume. All right, number 8, no troll candies. No candies that are trolling. No candies that are trying to troll. And you know what I'm talking about with these, the candies where it's like, oh, we're gonna put we're gonna put some weird ingredients in these ones. No, we're not doing any of that, all right? Because then I know then this is just gonna be like a reaction channel of like oh let's try the let's try the dirty diaper the dirty the dirty diaper flavored candy. And I don't even like you already know what brand of candy I'm talking about when I'm saying this, but I'm not like it's just gross and it's not fun. And like I don't want it to like because it's like oh this sucks. It like makes me want to throw up. Like great. Okay, that's the review. Yeah, it tastes gross. I got trolled. You know, we're not doing anything like that. So nothing that was made with the intent of like being gross or weird, basically, because that's just not what I'm trying to go for with this. It has to be something that's made to be enjoyed as a candy, you know. And then number 9 is strive for originality. Strive for originality. And what I kind of mean by that is that, this isn't going to be like a trendy kind of like I don't want this to be like a trendy sort of like you have the candy and then you're like I don't want it to be like I don't want to like if I'm having something I want it to be based on my own choice and like what I feel is good, and I don't want it to be like kind of like oh like this week we're reviewing like the Mr. Beast Feastables or whatever. We want it to be kind of like a original, like we want to look for things that are more kind of like off the beaten path. This is kind of an off the beaten path sort of candy review series. So we're not gonna like I'm not gonna like I don't want it to be kind of like I don't want this to sort of be like just looking for the most trendy like kind of like most like the next big candy, because that's not really what I'm all. And if I am picking a candy that's like kind of trending or something like that, or like is popular, it's not going to be because of its popularity. It's going to be because or it might be because of its popularity. It's not going to be like because it's like I'm trying to cash in on like the latest thing. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be like I'm trying it because I, as a reviewer, want to let people know how it tastes, basically. So that's my thought on that's rule number 9. No striving for originality and being original. And this again is in kind of keeping with number 3, strive for honesty, and number 5, leave your comfort zone and stuff like that. So yeah, no trendy. No, we're not being trendy here. We're being original and from the heart, basically. Number 10. This is kind of a personal thing, but be in a good place. I want to be in a good place when I'm doing these reviews. This is a very like for me. I feel like it'd be great if I could be when I do these reviews that I am in a good kind of both mental and physical place. So when I'm reviewing candies, I want it to kind of be like like I'm kind of like that the like where I'm at like is a good place. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to come into the review like I don't want to start record. I don't want to hit the record button and be like oh I'm in such a bad mood. Oh let's just review candies. Oh like that's not who I am. You know what I'm saying? Because then it'll affect the review process too. And like my sense or like think about it also like if I'm like drunk or something like that, then it's like that's also going to affect my review process and stuff like that. So it's like, I want to be in a good mental and physical place to do these reviews. Think about any sort of like situation where, I want to be like perfectly like, like healthy, like, I mean, well, maybe not healthy, but like just kind of like in my normal state when I do these reviews, basically. Because, that's how we get the best. Because like how many, if I was just in a bad mood, then it's going to reflect on the reviews. So yeah. Be in a good space. That's rule number 10. Rule number 11, no bribery. No bribery. We're not going to be bribed into if any candy companies are trying to, like if they want to give me money to like I'm not accepting any money. And that also is another part of this is no sponsorship. Like I'm not going to be sponsored by any company. I'm not going to be sponsored or bribed by any company or organization or person because these are my own reviews. And if you offer me any money or any favors or anything, I will say no, because this is, as I said in rule number 9, striving for originality. This is coming from my own beating heart. And if I'm not gonna let myself be bought out in like, I'm not gonna let myself be bought out I don't want my opinions to be bought out by any bribery or any sponsorship, and I'm not ever gonna sell out on this candy review series. Mrs. Candy Reviewer Ashlyn is not going to sell out, all right? That's rule 11. Rule 12, don't be overly negative. And, that's just sort of one of my own principles just in my life, is to not be overly negative. I think it's very important to always have like kind of an optimistic, kind of hopeful perspective on things, and that carries over to the candy reviews, because it's very important to not be overly negative and not to kind of have like a negative perspective on the candy. But to add on to that, rule number 12, don't be overly negative. But then rule 13 is don't be overly positive, because I don't want to have, there's this concept called toxic positivity that's like, I don't want to like always like be eating stuff and be like, oh, this is this, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it's like, if I'm like overly positive, then it's like I want to actually have my real feelings be carried over, and it's like I want to, it's like, and like maybe a candy will actually make me really happy, or conversely really like grossed out, or I hate it. But more than anything, I think it's about perspective. And I think this kind of, again, ties into rule number 1, or rule number 5 maybe, and rule number 2, which is like, I don't want to like have my own perspective on like both the world and the candy industry affect how I perceive these candies. You know what I'm saying? Because like, if I'm just thinking like, oh, modern candy is so gross these days. Like, where was all the good stuff back in the like all the, like, they really need to make, like, if I'm just constantly thinking like, oh, like modern candy, or like candy is just such a doomed concept at this point, then where exactly will, like, that's just. And on the flip side, if I'm like, oh, I love all candies all the time, every day, I'm just constantly like, oh, great, ever just put any candy in my mouth and I'll just eat it, then that's not being true to myself. And that again ties into like number 3, striving for honesty, because I want to be honest, and I'm not gonna like, I don't want to like every candy is its own thing. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that came across. I hope you kind of get what I'm trying to say with that. But don't not being overly negative and not being overly positive are rules number 12 and 13. Number 14, kind of to add on to all that, is that this is a safe space. And it's really, this is a safe space. And I actually don't, basically what I mean by that is that, I want this to kind of be like the sort of this, I want this to be like, more than anything, I want to be kind of, I want this to be like kind of comforting, sort of like friendly series. I don't want to be sort of like, basically, I just, this is like, I want this to be kind of like a place that people can, like a series people can watch and like feel kind of good generally, and like kind of comforted generally. Now, sometimes maybe things will happen that aren't super comforting. Like, I might say something, like I might say that I don't like a candy that you like, but generally I want this to be sort of like a safe space, and I mean that. Basically, I want to be very clear that I mean that, and I'm not just saying that to like, yeah, it's a safe space, like, sure. No, I'm being genuine here. I want this to actually be like a place that when people watch these videos, I want them to feel good and happy. I want them to feel respected. I want them to feel seen. I want them to feel uplifted. And that's kind of what I was getting for with that one. Like, this should be like not only a safe space, but it should be a place of empowerment. And I mean that genuinely. I want this to be an empowering series. Okay. All right. So, and to add on to that, number 14, safe space. Number 15, I want this, no toxic behavior. No toxic behavior. There will be no toxic behavior in the Mrs. Candy Reviewer Ashlyn's, process at all. Either be that with the community or be that with me. There will be no toxic behavior, no abuse. There will be no abuse that's happening. There will be no bad. This is gonna be, this more than anything, we're not gonna be toxic. We're not gonna I'm not gonna be like trying to be toxic, be that towards the candy, towards myself. I don't want any toxic behavior coming towards me, my fans. No, nothing toxic, basically. And take that however you will. But if you're basically, none of that. And that ties into the 14th one of this is a safe space. Again, nothing toxic. So 14, safe space. 15, no toxic behavior. 16 kind of goes without saying, but all candy reviews, they're gonna be safe for work. I'm sorry. I need a minute. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. There's nothing funny about that. I want them to all be safe for work, which goes without saying. Of course, there's nothing, like, personally, there's nothing happening. I don't want this to be like I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm trying really hard to do this. I'm really sorry. It's not gonna be like, if you're looking for something lurid or sexually charged to be happening on this candy review series, then there's the door. And I understand this, and nothing. This is a safer work candy review series. Not funny. It's not funny. Nothing, I'm not, there's not going to be anything sexual happening. In fact, it's going to be all above the board. Nothing, it's not going to be, nothing lewd is going to be happening. Because again, that's rule 16. I want this to be something that you can put on in any context and watch. And and I want this to be, I want it to be kind of make people feel comfortable. So because of that, it'll be safe for work, and there will be no sexually charged things that are happening on this candy review series. That is rule number 16. But to add on to that, number 17 is that all candy reviews should be sex positive. And what I'm saying by that is that although this is a safer work candy review series, my personal thoughts are that it's not going to be so, in the sense that I am not approving of anything sexual. It's just that I don't think it has a place here. But these reviews are supposed to be generally the spirit of what I'm trying to say is that although it's a safe for work review series, it's not implicitly against the concept of people having sex or NSFW things happening, and it may even be in support of those things, but it's stop texting me. I'm sorry. It's not necessarily a. Oh, I lost my train of thought now. 16 safe for work. 17 not sex negative. We're not gonna be like this is. There's nothing wrong with things being lurid or whatever, but that's not what I'm bringing to this review series. Basically, I just wanted to make that clear. Basically, I just wanted to make that clear because you can have 16 being like it should be safe for work, sure, but I think as a person, as an actor, I need to clarify what my thoughts are on. I need to clarify what my beliefs are because that's very important. I'm not going to compromise my beliefs in this regard, and my beliefs are that there's nothing wrong with sex, and sexual activities are part of the human experience, and they are not something that there's something that should be talked about. There's something that should be talked about, and there's something that should be, people should be talking about them, and they should be thinking about them, and they should be, researching and, coming up with ideas about them. But that's not what's going to be happening on this channel, basically. I'm not to say that I don't approve of it, but yeah. All right, that's it. Number 18. And this is kind of a broader encapsulation of everything, but more than anything, candy reviews, they should be life affirming. They should be my thoughts with this series are that I want to promote a culture of life, and I want to, more than anything, I want to make it so that they should be life affirming. And that means that, I believe through this series, I think everybody deserves love, everybody deserves to live, and I believe that we should be engaged that this series, I hope, will, affirm the concept that every human deserves the right to life and freedom and the basic necessities of living. Now, how exactly was that going to come about? I'm not really sure, but that's the guiding principle behind this review series. And not only that, to add on to this, but I also think that love is the underpinnings of this review series as well, because I think love is a very important concept. And I strive to bring a spirit of love and life-affirming kindness to everything I do, not just in regards to, by the way, not just in regards to candy reviewing, but into everything. So that is rule number 18. That is the last principle of the Mrs. Ashlyn Candy Reviewer channel rules. Okay, cool. Let me just drink some water, and then we can start reviewing. Okay, so this is the first candy we're going to be reviewing. It's Starburst Gummies, all pink. I got these from the store just down the road. And they're gummies. They're gummies. They're all pink and they're gummies. So I got these from the store. It wasn't that hard to get them. And we're just going to try them out. We're just going to try them out. See, this is what they look. Okay. Wait a minute. So first of all, if you look at the packaging, this is like not the same color at all. Also, wait, there's 2 price markers on this. Okay. This is kind of jarring. This is very different from what is on the packaging. It doesn't even have the, oh wait, no, it does have the S on it. The S, you can see. Alright, so yeah, I guess this is it, and I'm just gonna try. I mean, it's all right.